From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, September 13th. One more day with 90-degree high temperatures possible today, about 10 degrees above average for September 13th. And visitation services to mourn a Marine. Family, friends, and the community will remember a Logansport native killed in Afghanistan. People can pay respects to Corporal Humberto Sanchez between 1 and 7 today at Lifegate Church. The church is on Burlington Avenue in Logansport. A funeral for Sanchez is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 11 at the same place. Sanchez is one of 13 service members killed in the suicide bombing at the Kabul airport during the evacuation mission. And an outpouring of support lined the streets of Logansport as Sanchez returned for the final time. We were there, News 8 was, as people gathered for a procession. Sierra Hignite talked to them about why they were there.
The streets in Logansport lined with patriotic colors and American flags as far as the eye could see on Sunday as the body of 22-year-old Marine Corporal Humberto Sanchez was brought home. The body of the fallen Marine arrived at Grissom Air Force Base in Miami County on Sunday morning, then was transported to Logansport.
1% of our country steps up and serves the military, and they should be honored.
The reason that brought each person to the procession varied. For some, they come from a line of former and current military members and say this very well could have been their own family suffering the loss.
As a mother, it means so much. I can't imagine what his mother's going through. It's heartbreaking for me that she lost her child.
For others, they're veterans themselves and consider Sanchez a brother through their military branch.
I come down here and support a Marine that we lost, that we shouldn't have lost. I will always support my country. I will always support the Marine Corps and all the services that support this country.
Flags were blowing in the wind and spectators stood at attention as the body of a true patriot who gave his life in the name of freedom was brought to his final resting place.
I think it's very important that we do stand up and show that, we do respect those that have served and have paid the ultimate sacrifice.
And while they may not have known Sanchez, a tear was brought to the eye of many as the young man was brought home one final time.
Seeing the miles and miles of all these people here today is really good for the heart.
I'm Sierra Hignite for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And Secretary of State Antony Blinken will testify about the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Reuters reports he'll address the House Foreign Affairs Committee about the deadly days in Kabul. There's been a lot of debate since the withdrawal last month. Some politicians blame the Biden administration for the chaos in Afghanistan. Republican Representative and Iraq and Afghanistan veteran Adam Kinzinger of Illinois says some of that blame falls on Blinken.
Look, I think there's a lot of people that bear blame, and the Secretary of State is one of these. And I think it would be nice, and keep in mind, even under the prior president, I would say this exact thing, for some people to just take responsibility. That's what the American people want, is somebody to stand up and say, look, this is on me.
President Biden is standing by his decision to withdraw all American troops. He answered questions about the decision over the weekend while marking 20 years since the September 11th attacks.
70% of American people think it was time to get out of Afghanistan, spending all that money. But the flip of it is, they didn't like the way we got out. But it's hard to explain to anybody, how else could you get out?
Tomorrow, the secretary will address the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Indiana Senator Todd Young sits on that committee. And North Korea is claiming that it successfully test-fired new long-range cruise missiles. The state-run news agency reports the missiles launched on Saturday and Sunday. They reportedly hit targets more than 900 miles away. As of this morning, President Biden and the country of South Korea have not officially responded to the missile tests. And a crash on the north side of Indianapolis knocked out power for a lot of people in the Meridian Kessler area and a couple other neighborhoods, some Broad Ripple. According to AES Indiana, a car hit power lines at 56th and Keystone Avenue around 10 last night. At one point, more than 14,000 homes and businesses were in the dark. AES now shows power restored to everybody in that area. And 2 men are facing charges after an investigation into multiple Facebook Marketplace robberies. Kawan Cloud and Jason Wilson are in custody this morning. IMPD says police looked into 6 robberies reported between August 30th and September 11th. Officers arrested the two 18-year-olds following a standoff involving a SWAT team at an apartment complex near 38th and Post Road. Police also say they collected 2 handguns, items that were reported stolen, and more than 3 pounds of marijuana. And this morning, the FDA is making it clear to parents that children under the age of 12 shouldn't get vaccinated against COVID-19 yet. The agency wants parents to wait for the formal authorization, saying children are not small adults. The FDA goes on to warn that the vaccine doses that are currently being studied in younger children are not necessarily the same vaccine doses that have been approved for other age groups. Pfizer board member and former FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb says Pfizer will have data ready to study by the end of the month.
Yeah, I think parents should look at this as a decision where there's some latitude in terms of what you do with your child. You really should consult your pediatrician and have a conversation. Parents have understandable concerns about putting any new medical product in a child. It's not just this vaccine, it's any vaccine or any therapeutic. And I understand those concerns.
According to Gottlieb, the company plans to quickly file that data with the FDA, so the vaccine could be authorized for kids 5 to 11 years old. Then he says it's up to the parents. And U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy says that President Biden's COVID-19 vaccine mandate will be good for business and is the next step in combating the pandemic.
We have to use every lever of government, and we all in the private sector have to do everything we can to tackle this virus. The requirements the president announced are an example of that. The data tells us that these requirements work to increase vaccinations. Number two, a lot of businesses are actually relieved that these are going into place, and we've heard a
Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson of Arkansas argues that the president's vaccine requirements could backfire.
This is an unprecedented assumption of federal mandate authority that really disrupts and divides the country. It divides our partnership between the federal government and the states, and it increases the division in terms of vaccination when we should all be together trying to increase the vaccination uptake.
This morning, the CDC reports more than 178 million people are fully vaccinated in the United States.
Life is full of disappointments, and it was extremely disappointing. We did not perform well enough to get a win on a home opener.
I can already see how hungry everybody is. We'll be right back in there tomorrow, working, and everybody's, hungry to get better.
Putting together a new game plan for the Colts, the disappointment from another season-opening loss can be heard in the voices of the Colts locker room. And cornerback Kenny Moore admits on Twitter that there is lots of work. The team will look to regroup after falling to the Seattle Seahawks. The work begins again this afternoon before the Rams arrive next. One early highlight of the game featured the first touchdown pass for Carson Wentz as a Colt. He found Zach Pascal in the second quarter. Seattle's Russell Wilson answered with a 69-yard touchdown pass to lead by 11 at the half. The Seahawks scored again before the Colts squeaked one more in near the end. The Horseshoe missed out on a 2-point conversion. Final score 28-16. News 8's Olivia Ray has word from the team's leaders on the struggle.
An 8th straight season opening loss, 3rd consecutive home opening letdown sent this sellout crowd here in Indy home, concerned about 2 areas that have been constants here in Colts country. The highly touted defense carved up by Russell Wilson, 254 yards through the air, 4 passing touchdowns. Plus, there were glaring concerns from the offensive line, allowing Carson Wentz to be hit over a dozen times and sacked several in his debut with the Horseshoe.
Really disappointed, obviously. A lot of prep goes into this, a lot of anticipation into week 1, and so it hurts. It hurts for our players. I know it also hurts for our fans. We really want to give this one to our fans, and I'm not ready to just dump this thing and say the offensive line played bad, so forgive me for that, but I need to see the film. I understand what it looked like. I'm not saying that they can't get better. I think we all can.
There's a handful of plays I want back that I could have, got us in the right protection and helped us out. So you can never take it right at face value. We got to go learn from it, learn from the tape. That's on all of us as a team. We just didn't play complementary football. Offensively, we didn't capitalize, and we got to do better at that.
Yeah, unfortunately, saw how tough he was today. So doesn't feel really good as an offensive line, but put it on our shoulders, and it's not a standard that we hold ourselves to. So it'll be better next week.
Got a kicked, especially in the first half. We didn't do enough, and then second half made some adjustments. kind of to get it going. We didn't have enough takeaways. If you want to win football games, you got to take the ball away.
The Colts are 0-1 as they gear up to welcome the Rams and Aaron Donald to the Circle City next weekend, which is why there's no bigger storyline than the availability of left tackle Eric Fisher for Week 2. For now, reporting from the season opener in Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm Olivia Ray, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And the schedule stays tough. The Colts host the LA Rams on Sunday. The Rams beat the Chicago Bears last night 34-14. There'll be a lot to digest when the Wish TV sports team talks exclusively with Carson Wentz this Wednesday and every other Wednesday for that matter at 6 o'clock. Anthony Calhoun will go one-on-one with the quarterback on News 8. People living in Texas are on alert. Coastal communities are under a hurricane watch as Tropical Storm Nicholas approaches. According to the National Hurricane Center, the strongest winds could reach 65 miles per hour. The Emergency Operations Center in Corpus Christi is organizing sandbag giveaways to help people prepare. Right now, city officials say they want people to be aware of the potential for high water.
What I would say to people now is to be weather aware, weather alert, especially over the next 72 hours between now and Wednesday.
Nicholas is expected to produce up to 10 inches of rain across portions of coastal Texas into southwest Louisiana through midweek. The body of a man trapped in a soybean silo has been recovered after an hours-long effort. IFD crews were called to Bunge Contractors just after 12:30 Saturday afternoon. It's on 18th Street near Montcalm Street. Crews weren't able to remove him. The victim, 32-year-old Marvin Tyler, until just before 11 p.m. Firefighters say the constant shift of soybeans inside the silo was the biggest challenge. It's unclear how Tyler got trapped in the silo. The Indianapolis City County Council is preparing to vote on the next phase of the Circle City Forward initiative. It aims to make improvements to the city by connecting people to the downtown area with trails and greenways. The plan includes 9 projects that would cost $25 million. One of the areas getting improvements is on the east side in Councilor Lakeisha Jackson's district, and she says it will really improve the lives for people living there. And she adds that the project will also encourage businesses to expand in Indianapolis. The budget meeting starts at 7 tonight. And this morning, congressional Democrats are in disagreement over a $3.5 trillion budget package. The draft proposal includes a tax increase for corporations and the wealthy. West Virginia Democrat Senator Joe Manchin says he is not in support of the bill. He says that he would support the bill if the price dropped to around $1.5 trillion, about half, less than half. His comments prompted a response from Senator Bernie Sanders as well. He chairs the budget committee that laid out the recommendations for the spending bill. In a separate State of the Union interview, he said it's unacceptable that Manchin won't support the bill. A vote on the bill is expected by September 27th. And today is the last full day of campaigning before voters in California head to the polls tomorrow for a recall election. The ballot asks voters first whether they want to recall Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom. Then voters choose from the replacement candidates, including frontrunner Republican Larry Elder. Voters pushed for the recall election after Newsom faced criticism for COVID-19 restrictions put in place during the pandemic. Tomorrow's recall election is the second time a sitting governor has been recalled in California history. And finally, to business headlines, a college ratings website that aggregates school rankings from a variety of publications has just released its list of top NBA on-campus programs for 2022. And 2 business schools in Indiana made the top 20. The MBA program at the Indiana University Kelley School of Business had the highest placement of schools in the Hoosier State, coming in at number 6. The Mendoza College of Business at the University of Notre Dame comes in at number 20. The College Consensus uses publisher and student reviews from annual rankings conducted by Bloomberg, Forbes, U.S. News & World Report, among others. A U.S. district judge mostly sided with Apple, rejecting Epic's claims that the iPhone maker is a monopoly. Now the video game maker says it will appeal. The judge didn't rule that Apple needs to restore Fortnite, Epic's hit game at the center of the lawsuit, to the App Store or Epic's Apple developer account. She also rejected the need for third-party app stores and didn't force Apple to lower its App Store revenue cut by 15 to 30%. Epic Games makes the hugely popular Fortnite. UPS is buying local logistics technology startup Roadie as it tries to offer same-day delivery. Roadie has 200,000 drivers and a footprint that covers 90% of the United States. UPS said that Roadie drivers can deliver items that don't fit because of their size or because they are perishable. They can also deliver items that are in shopping bags. Kroger says food prices will rise 2 to 3% this year, more than the grocer had expected. This is due to soaring prices for beef, pork, and poultry. Beef prices have risen 14% this year, while pork prices have jumped 12.1%, and poultry prices are higher by nearly 7%. Kroger executives also said organized crime is leading to stealing of items where law enforcement is lax, and that's leading to bigger losses than expected. Over $20 billion is expected to be legally wagered in the United States on the 2021 NFL and college football seasons, nearly tripling the $7.5 billion wagered in 2020. This is according to estimates from PlayUSA. One analyst believes the increase in betting handle is largely due to the recent legalization of sports betting in highly populous states. Another reason for sports betting's growth in 2021 could be the reemergence of college football. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.